there was, in fact, THC in this CBD product that said there would be no THC. Kind of caused a problem there.
The U.S. Supreme Court on Wednesday rendered a ruling on a case involving a truck driver and CBD oil that dates back all the way back to 2012. It's a cautionary tale of sorts, one that Tyson Fisher of Landline Magazine has been following, and he joins us now with details. Tyson, good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Let's start with the basics here on what we need to know. Again, this takes us back to 2012 when Douglas Horn, a professional truck driver, was working. He got into a crash, had some pain, decided to take and use some CBD to relieve that pain. He bit off more than he can chew. Let's run through the basics here of kind of what happened.
Yeah, so he was trying to find a way to alleviate some back pain. So nothing was working. Did some research, found a CBD product that advertised itself as having 0.00 THC, which when you're a truck driver can't have any. So it's like, well, it's telling me 0.00 THC. I just want the CBD anyway. He's like, fine, this is good. I'll take it. He did. And to make a long story short, he got called in for a random drug test, as truck drivers often do. Tested positive for marijuana, and it was because there was in fact THC in this CBD product that said there would be no THC. Kind of caused a problem there, and so subsequently he was fired because of that positive test. And so then what he did was he sued the company, the CBD product company, basically claiming RICO charges. Now, RICO is the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. It's what we associate with mobsters
Right.
and the mafia. It's what we know it as. But in this case, it also deals with mail and wire fraud. In this case, because they advertised it as 0.00 THC across state lines, that is mail and wire fraud. Bam, you got your RICO charges. Now, RICO charges are criminal, but it also allows you to have a civil claim under RICO. So in this case, because he was fired, he suffered damages from that, and so that was his claim, saying under RICO, you can recover damages to loss of business or property. That's the key word there, and we'll come back to that. And he said, well, I lost my business as an employee, and therefore I get these RICO claims. The district court disagreed. They sided with the CBD company, basically saying that that it was a personal injury that caused his unemployment, right? So their racketeering activity of mail fraud did not cause him to lose his business or lose his job. It was the ingestion of THC that made him lose his business. That's a personal injury. And so what the Racketeering Act or the RICO Act does is it implicitly excludes personal injury cases or personal injury claims. And so what they're saying is because of that, you have no case. The district court agreed. Now, the Court of Appeals in the Second Circuit disagreed. And what they said was, sure, this business injury flowed from a personal injury case, but that shouldn't exclude it. And basically, here's a way to look at this. And so let's say you own a small business, right, in a town run by the mafia, and you're not paying the protection money that they're asking for, okay? And so what the mafia does is through a series of crimes like, bribery and extortion, they cause your business to go underground. You have a RICO civil claim. No one's asking about that. But let's say instead of doing that, they just beat the crap out of you. You're in a coma, and because you're in the coma, you lose your business. You may not have a racketeering claims because your loss of business is derivative of the personal injury, not the racketeering events, right? So what the Supreme Court was asked was to basically decide on that. So can you have a RICO civil claim even though it was a personal injury that caused the injury to the harm to the business? And so long story short, the Supreme Court sided with the truck driver saying he can move forward with his claims just because it was the personal injury that caused the harm to his business or employment doesn't preclude him from being able to file a RICO civil claim. So he can move forward with that now.
Right. So here we are 13 years later, and essentially the Supreme Court is saying here, go ahead with the lawsuit. So we will follow that now. The most important thing about this particular story, and we talk about this all the time, it really is a cautionary tale because, again, we've got this gentleman who thought he was taking a harmless product, CBD, and I use harmless in quotes because he thought he was using it within the confines of the law as a professional truck driver. got dinged, got fired, and that set off this whole process that we're dealing with now 13 years later that will continue on for who knows how many years. Again, the cautionary tale here is be super careful if you're taking CBD, and I would even say steer clear of it altogether.
Yeah, so a lot of people are focusing on this fact that he's a truck driver who took CBD. Those facts of the case, truck driver, CBD, background information for this Supreme Court case, which is deciding only on personal injury and RICO. That was it. Not deciding on any of the merits of the case itself with CBD and the truck driver and all that. That doesn't change. So this changes nothing. Yeah, so to your point, the common advice of just steer clear of CBD products if you're a truck driver, that remains intact. Doesn't change anything. And in fact, in the Supreme Court majority opinion, Justice Amy Coney Barrett even kind of warned the truck drivers, like, looking at this case, you have an uphill battle. Basically saying you may not even win this case. In the end, you may not win this because you have a lot of other obstacles to overcome in your claims. And so, again, if anything, this just highlights the risk that you take taking CBD as a truck driver, which again, my advice is just don't do it because you don't. It's highly unregulated industry, so just don't roll that dice.
Yeah, again, we'll see what happens with this case moving forward. But as you pointed out, Justice Amy Coney Barrett essentially said, good luck with this. You're facing an uphill battle because at the end of the day, you are ultimately responsible for what goes into your body. Again, I won't argue the merits of this case. I'm not an attorney. I don't know if you know that about me, Tyson, but we'll see how this plays out. But again, I just want to underscore that. Be careful what you're putting in your body. If it's CBD, be ready and know that it may not be exactly what it's being advertised.
And with that being said, this is going to be kicked back to the district court. I will be following this case closely, so I will keep everyone informed on how the CBD arguments end up shaking out in the end. Yep.
And that will be probably sometime in 2029 or 2030. Who knows? But anyway, we'll see how it pans out. Tyson, we always appreciate it, especially with these cases, kind of putting them in layman's terms and helping us understand what's going on.
Thanks for having me.